good to be in LA. It's great to be back in LA. I went home for the holidays. I'm not from LA originally. If it isn't clear from my vacant smile, I'm from the Midwest. You know, some people have resting bitch face. I have resting you betcha face. There was a casserole in my car. That's the situation. I'm from Indiana specifically, and... Oh yeah, what part? You're not from there. That's a lie. From Indiana. A lot of people in LA have not been to Indiana. You know, they'll be like, Brendan, what's that like? And I want to be honest and say that Indiana is like the oldest wooden roller coaster at Six Flags. You know, like you go by it and you're like, it's very dark. There's no line. Is it open? You get on it. You're like, the past was fun. Is this a gun? But when people ask, they're like, Brendan, what's Indiana like? I do get very defensive of it. And I feel like I turn into a full handmaid. My brainwashing kicks in. I'm like, Indiana, her cuppeth overflows. Virile blessings to the straight man in your life. I'm off to the market. The most famous person from Indiana is Mike Pence. And we love her. We love it. She's terrific. Bakes great bread. Okay. Mike Pence, before he was vice president, he was governor of Indiana, and then he had like a radio station or a radio show. It was like Delilah for bigots. So I've known about him for a long time. So I feel like sometimes I'm like the guy you went to college with who like knew bands before you did. You know, you'd be like, have you heard of Mumford & Sons? And he'd be like, yeah, actually, I saw them like 3 years ago at a private seance. And you'd be like, thank you, Derek. So happy you're in the group. Except for it's people being like, Brendan, did you know that Mike Pence hates gay people? And I'm like, yeah, actually, Mike Pence did conversion therapy on me. This is my wife, Belinda. We have the same initials, so we only need one set of monogrammed hand towels. No! That hurt. The most Indiana thing that happened to me as a kid is that my dad bought me a shotgun when I was 10 years old. Seems young. Okay. He came into my room one day and he was like, hey, sport, a lot of the other boys are getting guns this year. Do you want me to buy you one? And I was like, I've never thought about it. I'm 10. Can I toss it in the air and catch it impressively for awards? And I'll never forget it. He was like, I'll get you one just in case, like a McNugget or something like that, right? He was like, go back to doing whatever you were doing, which was watching Moulin Rouge. And then a couple weeks later, a bunch of these dads and their sons went out into a swamp, and we were going to shoot clay discs, which are called ducks. And I thought these were going to be real ducks. Like, I was like psyching myself up to kill something. I was like, come on, Brendan, it's for your family. And we get out there, and each dad and each son hits their clay disc. And we get to me, and I like lift my gun up in the air because it's so heavy, and they don't even fire one off, but I shoot it too early, and it kicks me in the shoulder, and I fall on the ground, and I start crying. And I spent the rest of the day in the back of a flatbed truck just like, good shooting, guys. And my dad was like, yes, he who shall carry on my family name. I live in LA now. When I was moving out of Indiana, I was choosing between New York and LA, very classic. And New York's tough for me. It's like, it's hard to know who's ill and who's just having a bad day. Like, I was walking around the West Village one time, and I heard behind me, shit, fuck, goddamn, and I turned around, it was Condoleezza Rice. I was like, Miss Rice, I am moving to LA. A lot of people rag on LA, though, you know, people will be like, the traffic, I hate the driving, but that's actually, like, one of my favorite parts. Like, don't you, like, love your car? Yeah? Don't you just, like, love being in there? If something smells, it's yours, you know? You can, like, win imaginary fights with your friends. There's just a little bit of danger in your life from when you're texting and driving. I'm constantly doing. It's to a point where it's like I'm not texting and driving, I'm browsing and driving. Like I got pulled over for it and this cop was like, I saw what you were doing. And I was like, what, reading the New York Times? You guys are problematic. One ticket, thank you. But when you get a ticket for texting and driving, you have to go to traffic school to get rid of it. And in traffic school, they show you all these PSAs where teen girls get in car accidents and die. And they're always like texting their mom like, made the team, smash. Or they're with their group of gal pals and they're like, text him. And it's like, you get the popcorn, I'll get the tickets, dead, Jessica's face chasing pavement. And I'm like, I like this. I like learning through narrative. It's our oldest way of teaching lesson. But this is not my narrative, you know. I'm gonna die Googling macarons. Not even like where to find macarons, just like midday, I need to look at a beautiful cookie right now. I'm gonna die being like, WebMD, symptoms of schizophrenia. My last thought, like, yep, we've got that, Dad. I'm gonna die tweeting at Bette Midler. You know, when are you gonna do Hocus Pocus 2, Dad? And they'll be like, Miss Midler, you have to do this movie. It was the dying wish of a twink. For those of you who don't know, a twink is like a young gay who you want to fill with cream. You shouldn't have given us rights. That's basically... You shouldn't have given us right, because now we run culture, all right? That was your first mistake. Your second mistake was inventing YouTube, because now every 11-year-old is a full drag queen. Like, have you talked to an 11-year-old recently? I have a lot of younger followers on Instagram. Don't ask. And I'll post, like, just a single photo of myself, and every comment will be like, slay queen. And then you click the profile, and it is a literal child. And it's just like, I'm Grayson, I'm from Champaign, Illinois, I'm that bitch of Miss Schaefer's class, okay? And you're like, Grayson, you obviously have never met Mike Pence.